Coming live from Florida, USA is our guest this evening. Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And before I move forward, may I request you to subscribe, follow, like, and comment on whichever platform you are watching or listening to this show on. And today we have Stephen Gregg, online networking expert straightway from the USA. Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you very much, AJ.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the show. So, the topic today is how to grow your small business organically through online networking. And you are an online networking expert, Stephen. But my first question is, why do you call yourself the mentor for the masses?
Great question. I've been in direct sales for 34 years. That's all I've ever done. I've never had a job, never had a salary. And when I first got into sales, my first 12 years, I failed in a big way. In other words, I was in direct sales. I sold cars. I was in network marketing. I sold health insurance. I went through a lot of different types of sales companies over those years. And then finally, I got a mentor. And this mentor really helped me learn the skill sets. And this was like a player who was a big infomercial guy. He did major infomercials, and he taught me the skills of sales the right way. From that point, I started, helping people in that manner and started helping them grow their business. And I got into Aflac, company on TV with the duck, did really well there. I got into a real estate investment company and did very, very well there, helped thousands upon thousands of people. And then I started training probably about 30,000 people now at this point. I've trained and coached business owners and sales professionals. I also run an online ministry online. It's called Saved by Truth. So I do that, and I teach thousands of people all around the world. So for the last few years, once COVID hit, I decided, I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching. I was helping business owners with their business through networking because, everything was started going online. So for the last 10 years, I've been doing a lot of online networking, but I was coaching one-on-one. But when 2020 hit, or 2019 actually hit, and all these people started coming online, I started realizing there's a lot of people struggling. There's a lot of people that don't really know what they're doing online. They're a small business owner or they're a sales professional, and they need to learn how to network online. So I said, well, how can I help the masses? How can I help more people learn this skill set? Because I can't coach everybody one-on-one. And then I don't want to be like these other guru coaches that keep selling you more stuff and keep upselling you to the next program, because a lot of people can't afford that. Only a select few can. So I said, how can I be the mentor for the masses? And I said, wow, that's kind of catchy. Mentor for the masses. I like it. And so I branded myself as the mentor for the masses. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create an academy. I'm going to go inside my head, think of what I do on a daily basis that creates success. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to put everything I do, not a theory, not a concept of what I do, what I actually do. And I recorded it in 5-minute increments and put it into a system so that anybody on earth that's really excited about learning how to effectively network and generate new business, convert leads into sales, they can go to Networking Conversion Secrets and actually learn that system. And I did it for as little as $97 right now. Right now I have a special program going where basically it's $100 for a lifetime membership. And the reason I did it so inexpensive, because I want no one to have an excuse. With all the economy and challenges going on in the world right now, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are having a hard time feeding their family, and there's nobody coming to the rescue. And so I said, well, what can I do to really help those people? And I said, I can become the mentor for the masses and give the farm away, give the knowledge away that people need to have so they can grow their business. And that's how I became the mentor for the masses.
Right, right. Great, Stephen. So, as businesses are always on the lookout for new leads, new businesses, new clients. And for small businesses, there is always this fight because they have to keep the cash flow going. So, small businesses are always on the lookout because they need to scale up as well as keep the systems running, and for that clients are necessary. So how do small businesses use the full power of online networking and grow their business. You are a master of this. Can you share your tips, your strategies for small businesses who are looking for such tips all the time?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, the reason why I would suggest small business owners to start getting online, and if they have salespeople, get them to learn how to network. Even if they have receptionists, it doesn't matter. Everybody in the company, if they learn how to network, they can attract new clients. Because the biggest problem I see in the marketplace is that most people don't know the difference between a lead and a prospect. That's where
Okay.
the problem comes, because everyone says that they need more leads. They're looking for more leads. But let me explain what a lead is. A lead is simply name and contact information. So a
Right.
business owner probably has hundreds of leads in their database. Each salesperson has hundreds of leads in their database. They have thousands of leads on LinkedIn. They have tens of thousands of leads on Facebook. These people have leads. They're not lead deficient. That's their problem, because they don't know the difference between a lead and a prospect. And so, AJ, I'm going to tell you guys what a prospect is, because if you understand this concept, this is where I help people. A prospect is someone you've spoken to or communicated with that is open to learning more about what you do. And so
Okay.
the big problem that a lot of small business owners have and salespeople is they don't know how to convert leads to prospects. It's not that they don't have more leads or enough leads. They don't know how to convert a lead into a prospect. And that's one of the very first things I teach inside the academy, is the exact words to say, how to convey the message to get a person to say, wow, I need to listen to that person. That makes sense. Let me book an appointment in their calendar. They book an appointment in my calendar, and then I do what's called a strategy session, and I kind of show them my presentation of what I do, and then a person joins with me immediately. And so that's what one of the big strategies and things that people need to learn is how to convert a lead into lead into a prospect. And that's one of the biggest tips I teach people right up front, is that what a lead is, what a prospect is, and how to convert one. Because if they can get that, imagine having a sales team that can now get on networking groups, figure out who their target audience is. So, in other words, if they're a real estate agent, they need to know who their target customer is. If they're a small business owner that does flowers, they need to know who their target audience is. It doesn't make a difference who it is. They need to know and identify their target audience, and then know the exact words to say and how to say those words to get the person to say, wow, I think I want to talk to Stephen about those flowers. Yeah, let me give him a call. Let me put my appointment in their calendar. And then I set up a system, kind of like what you see on my screen right here. You see where it says meetstephengregg.com? That's my calendaring system. Now, why do I have it there? Because I believe that some people that might be watching this may say, wow, Stephen, I think I want to talk to Stephen. So guess what? I have my calendar there available for them, so they can book a time on my calendar. And then when they book a time on my calendar, what I do is I give people a free hour of strategies and tips on how to grow their business, whether if they do business with me or not. And so that's some of the things that I teach. And one of them is how to convert a lead to a prospect. Two is how to effectively invite people to see what they do. Because those two tips alone, if a company or a small business can learn how to do those things for themselves, teach it to their receptionists, teach it to their managers, teach it to their sales team, that alone would grow their business organically without spending a single dime for on advertising.
Right, right, Stephen. So when we talk of online networking, we generally think of social media and other forms of through the website and approaching through LinkedIn and other forms of networking. Can you explain exactly what online networking is? Is it more than what general people like me understand? Is it more than that?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, online networking consists of multiple things. So first of all, let me kind of give you some ideas of what online networking is. This right now, what we're doing right now, is online networking, being on podcasts. So if a person's on a podcast, I'm networking with you, but other people are hearing my message. So because they're hearing my message, that is a form of online networking. That's why I wanted to become a podcast guest. Does that make sense? So whether if you're the host of a podcast or you're a guest, that is a form of online networking. Another form of online networking, which you mentioned, is social media. Well, social media can be if you know how to do it properly. If you just get onto Facebook and just start posting, That's not online networking. That's just posting. But if on those posts, when person responds, you connect with them, you do a message with them, and you invite them to meet with you one on one, now you're doing online networking. So that's how you
Okay.
convert a lead to a prospect. Just the posting is not online networking. That's a non money making activity. But when you speak to them, you can actually convert those leads into a prospect when they show interest in what you do. Because remember, I said what a prospect is someone you've spoken to or communicated with that is open to learning more about what you do. So, give an example. If I put a post on Facebook and someone likes that post, and I send them a message saying, "Hey, thanks for liking my post," and they say, "Yeah, that sounded great. It sounds like something I need for my business." Well, I'd say, "Well, that's great. Well, if you're open to it, I can give you a free hour strategy session and give you some specific tips on how to grow your business and generate more leads for your business." Oh, yeah, I'd be open to that. Great. Well, let's go to I'll give you my calendar. You can book a time on my calendar and I'll give you a free hour strategy session. I give them my website, meetstephengregg.com. They go book an appointment, and now that I just used it as networking. That can happen anywhere. So now another form of online networking would be, as a matter of fact, if you go to meetstephengregg.com, I actually have a list of about 40 to 50 online networking groups that a person can download for free. So you can go there and get that free list. But online networking also consists of this. There's groups out there that have put together major networking groups that they have every single week. One of them is called Happy Neighborhood Project. So if you go to Happy Neighborhood Project, you can actually go there and they're free every week. They have like 50 of them a week. So you can just go there. There's people all around the world that come on to explain their business and network and build relationships. Another one is called Alignable. Alignable has one where you can go on Alignable, sign up, get a membership there. It's free. And you can go on every week and build relationships. And so the goal of the networking event is twofold. Number one is to build a relationship with someone, to meet someone and possibly do some referrals back and forth. Here's where I shine is most people that go there don't know how to network. So what I do is I teach them how to effectively network and how to generate business. Because the second goal when you go to these online networking events is to convert leads into prospects, to see if your ideal prospect is on those networking events, and then generate that lead and convert it to a prospect and book a time to meet with you. Does that make sense? And so those are three of the most popular forms of networking. But like I mentioned, I have that little book that you can see on the screen. It's called Networking Online, a Worldwide Online Networking List. You can download that list of all the different networking groups across the world for free at meetstephengregg.com.
Okay. Okay. So making now I am much more educated on exactly what online networking and plain social media is. So when businesses, and especially small businesses, they are always in a bit of eagerness and a bit of rush to generate sales, and at that point in time there is not always that luxury to generate and create those online networking connects and all that stuff. But for a lot of people who understand that there is a bit of time, or for people who want to rush, what should be the approach and what should be their understanding of online network? Whether it is fishing or is it hunting, what exactly it is?
Great question. Fishing versus hunting. I'm glad you brought that up. So let me show the difference between fishing and hunting and why I talk about that. Hunting is where you go aggressively trying to sell someone right there on the spot. That
Right.
means like you meet someone and say, "Hey, if you like, I can tell you about my program and here's my services and my vitamins. Hey, let's meet together because it might be beneficial for you." That's more of a hunting approach. I don't do hunting. When I was an amateur, when I used to sell cars, that's what I did. I was really young and dumb. That's probably why I failed so long.
In fact,
Because
the
yeah,
boss says go for the kill. Go for
go
the
for the,
kill.
that's they call it. Go for the kill. Right. That's exactly right. And so don't take no for an answer and all that type of stuff. I now take no for an answer. If someone says no, I say next because I'm looking for people that really want what I do. I don't try to get people anymore. And that's what an amateur does. They really go out and try to close people. What I don't try to close people. You know what I do? I try to find people who are open. And there's a big difference. So fishing consists of this. I have a process where the first thing you have to have if you want to go fishing, you have to have the right. Well, first of all, you got to know where you're going to go fish. You got to go know what type of fish you want. So if you want to eat salmon, then you might not want to go to the ocean, because the probabilities of you finding salmon in the ocean is not going to be very likely. So you want to say, where are all the bears? Because the bears know where the salmon are. So you go to the river where the bears hang out, because that's where the salmon is. That's the first thing. You got to know where your target audience is. That's why networking groups are so important, and the types of networking groups. So now you go where the bears are. You go to the river. Then what you have to have, you say, okay, I need to have some bait. What type of fish do bait the salmon like to eat? So you got to have the right bait. And what I call that is an audio business card. I teach a formula that is different than an elevator pitch. You've probably heard of an elevator pitch before, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't teach elevator pitch. That's kind of like a basic elementary teaching. It's the same exact sentence every single time. And every salmon don't like the same type of fish every time, the same type of bait every time. So my audio business card changes every time. And what I do is I use an audio business card teach formula that I teach inside the academy of how to attract that customer. So let's say I went and I was talking to someone on a networking group, and they said, what do you do? Most people say, I'm a realtor, or I'm a podcast master, or I do this. And what I do is I work with entrepreneurs, I work with sales professionals, and I show them how to generate leads and convert them into sales within 24 hours so they can put more money in their bank account. And guess what they say? Wow, well, how do you do that? And I say, well, I have a system in place. And if you're open to it, I can give you a free 1 hour strategy session, give you some tips and some ways to be able to help you grow your business. Would you be open to that? Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. Great. Well, let me give you my calendar, and you can set up a time in my calendar. And then I can give you, like I said, that free strategy session, give you some very specific tips on what you can do. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I send on my calendar, and boom, I booked an appointment on my calendar like that. I can do that 10 times a day on networking groups because I'm fishing in the right pond. I have the right bait. I have the right hook, which is what's called an opener. And I teach you those techniques inside the academy. And then I have a bucket to put them in, which is my calendar. And then once they come and I meet with them one-on-one, I do a strategy session where I give them some very specific tips. I give them a lot of meat. I don't give them a bunch of garbage. I don't do a sales pitch. I give them real content that they can use for free, even if they don't do business with me. And you know what my clients say? Stephen, if I got all that for free, what will I get if I pay? So like yesterday, I had a client. Yesterday, I met a networking group the day before. He booked an appointment with me, and yesterday he just hired me as a coach. So it's that simple. So, but most people don't know how to do that process. And I took that exact system that's in my head. I put it in like 3 to 4 hour, 5-minute, 10-minute increment videos inside of Networking Conversion Secrets. So anybody can learn that process.
Right, right, Stephen. So, how do you have a continuous flow of your ideal clients? Is it possible through online networking? How do you do that?
Great question. Well, think about this. If you wanted to go fishing in a river, is there an ongoing flow of salmon in the river? Yeah, the river automatically attracts the ongoing flow, right? So
Right,
once you find where your target networking group is, so let's just use an example. If my target audience were real estate agents, then I would go to a networking group where all real estate agents are. So the entire networking group is nothing but my target audience, and they're coming automatically because they want to grow their business. So if my target is them, then that's where I would go networking. If my target audience was small business owners, then I would go to a networking group where small business owners are. I would go to maybe Meetup or Network After Work. I would go to these business owner ones. If my target audience were sales professionals, I'd go to a different one. I'd go to Alignable where there's sales professionals and nothing with them. If my target audience were network marketing, I would go to the networking club, network marketing club, or MLM club, or I'd go to one of the groups where all the people that are there are my target audience. So then all I got to do is just go in, throw in my hook, throw in my bait, and reel them in. Does that make sense? I don't have to go hunting.
okay.
So
So if some small business manufactures stuff for, say, homemakers, maybe some kitchen equipment, how do they network online? How do they reach the housewives or homemakers, or people who are who are working in the kitchen? How do they do that online specifically?
Excellent question. So give you an example. I used to work with a solar company. So solar would be talking to homeowners, right? So now that's different. That's not business owners. So what I would do is I would go to trade show networking groups. There's trade shows. So like if you go to a trade show where there's a booth and they're bringing all these people, like a home show, all those people are my prospect. If I'm a solar person or if I'm a contractor. Now that's not necessarily online. That might be a live trade show, but nowadays they have online trade shows. And on my networking list, there's some different ones that are available. So you can go to a trade show. Now everybody's there coming to look about that type of trade. You see, so you can do that. Or another thing you can do, there's networking groups online like a chamber of commerce, or there's this neighborhood networking groups online where you can go into your own neighborhood and then all that's there are homeowners and housewives. And so if you have a contracting business, that entire networking group of people are housewives. Here's the key to remember. You just got to find out where your target audience is, go in that target audience, and then learn how to say the right words to get them in your calendar. That's all it is. That's what most people don't know how to do. And that's what I teach inside of the academy.
Right, right, Stephen. Great insights into this whole online networking stuff. Now, my last questions to you, Stephen, is that you talk of two things that entrepreneurs should avoid when they are growing their business. Can you tell us about those two things that you talk about, generally?
Sure. A couple things to avoid when you're networking. The first thing I see a lot of people make mistake on when they go networking is they don't have any intent. There's no intent. In other words, they go networking with the sake to just go build relationships. And that's what you'll hear a lot of these networking groups, especially these newer networking groups. They don't really understand the intent of networking. So what happens is people will get on there and they say, well, you just want to build relationships. It takes like 6 months to build relationships. So you want to go there, and then the salesperson comes or the business owner comes with no intent to find their target audience. You see, and that's one of the things you want to avoid, because just because the networking group says, oh, you're there to build relationships, doesn't mean I can't come there with an intent to find my target audience. You understand? Now, I'm not going to hunt for them. I'm going to use the techniques that fish for them. And they're going to book an appointment in my calendar. Does that make sense? So one of the big tips that I would recommend people to learn is to have the right intent. So what intent should be is to maybe have a goal to book 3 appointments in my calendar on this networking event, to find 2 of my target audience and meet 2 of them one-on-one so I can find out more about their business, they can find out more mine. So go
Right.
to the networking events with intent. That would be one tip, one of them. A second one would be never go there with the intent to sell. Go there with the intent to give. So when I go to a networking event, I go to give. Like I'll give my free networking list group book away, or I'll go give a free hour strategy session, or I'll go to give some tips. When I'm talking to some people in a group, I give them free tips right there on the group. So I go with the heart to give, or I give referrals. That's another thing I give. So
Okay.
if you go there with the heart to give, then people see you're a giver, and givers gain. So givers will get and receive. Does that make sense?
Right, right. But Stephen, you are a man of God, so you can restrain yourself. A lot of people are lesser mortals. They always want to go on a hunt, and many a times people want to just hunt the golden goose exactly at whenever they can lay their hands on. I'm just
Yeah.
joking, but it is very difficult for people to restrain themselves from trying to make a sale. And if it's a prospect, then they immediately want to close the sale wherever it is. But
Yes.
that's the nature. And I guess maybe your trip will help them remember this particular part, that always go to give and rather not to just make a sale. This will help them. But in this 20 minutes only, we could cover only a little bit of it. There is so much to learn and from you. So how do people connect with you? How they can learn more from you? Can you tell us about how they can reach you?
Sure. You just said a very important word. You just said, people need to restrain themselves, right? I'm going to adjust that word a little bit. I'm going to say people need to retrain themselves.
Right.
That's the problem. they need to retrain themselves on how to do it the right way. And so the way they can do that is, number one, if they want to meet with me one-on-one and maybe have some questions, or they want to, I'll give them a free hour strategy session. They can go to meetstephengreg.com, and I'd be happy to, spend some time with them, find out about their business, help them identify their target audience, and give them some tips, some free tips. That's one. Or if they just want to go check out the academy, like I said, it's $100 one time, and they can go to Networking Conversion Secrets Direct, check it out, see if it's a fit for them. But I believe that when they go in there, they're going to be blown away, because it's like 10,000 hours worth of training in there for $100. I mean, there's nobody that's giving that much training away for that little bit of money. But I would say this: those will be the two best ways for someone to connect with me. But restraining themselves comes from retraining themselves.
Right. Right, Stephen. Right. Thank you so much for your time and all the insights and strategy.
Thank
With
you.
this, it's a wrap on this edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you once again.
Well, thank you.